Good afternoon. No, it's not good afternoon. It is good morning. Thank you everyone for coming on, and welcome to another episode. Is it an episode? Not sure it's that. Another week to the comment section. Every week I'm going to be giving you 10, 15 minutes, bit of value in terms of how you can extract more value from your comment section. And today we're discussing why responding to comments can make or break your brand's reputation. And there's some really, really good examples of that, which we'll run through today, and also some tips for you to take away and hopefully action. Before we start though, for anyone that doesn't know who I am, my name's James. I am the founder of Rupert, your 24/7 social media assistant. And if you are looking for something to help manage your comments, Rupert is something I've built and made it really cost effective for every single brand, whether you're a big boy or a small boy, or girl, of course. So yeah, that is Rupert. So I always start with a stat every week, and this week's stat is 40%, if I can talk, more spent with business that chat and responds to customers on social media. I think we all know this. The best brands in the world actually engage with their community, with their audience, and for me, there's some amazing brands that do it. But actually, if we look at it commercially, the brands that are doing it are extracting more money from their customers' purse and or wallets. So if you're not engaging with your customers, especially if you're in the e-commerce space, my recommendation would be to do so, because you will definitely see your bottom line increase. And actually, your average order value will increase, your lifetime value will increase, but your cost per acquisition won't. All that will do is reduce, which is brilliant. So here's an example of a brand that doesn't do it very well. Now, I think I've spoken about these guys before, actually. They're a vintage clothes company, and we saw sort of a bit of a rise of this type of brand last year, or the last couple of years. And a few years ago, I was actually going to buy some, one of these packages for one of my clients, because one of my clients was a merchandiser of F1 clothing, and they had a real issue, which is the end of the F1 season. They had a lot of excess stock, which tanked in price because obviously it wasn't that particular season's. So seeing what these guys were doing in terms of their bundles of vintage clothes, I thought was really interesting. So I was actually going to buy one, see what the sales prices was, so my client could replicate it. And before I went to go ahead and purchase, I saw they had a lot of comments. Now, by a lot of comments, I saw thousands. Obviously, this one they've only got 24. So I had a quick look, because it was quite a lot of comments for a brand of this nature, and I saw that every single comment was a complaint. Where's my order? This is a scam. And actually, I never went ahead and purchased. And bear in mind, I was spending company money at the time. I didn't go ahead and purchase because of the comment section. And that's me spending company money, not even my own money. So again, if you're a brand and you're getting comments and you're neglecting them, just be careful that people are looking at these comments and they are reviewing them, and they are actually making decisions and purchasing decisions, more importantly, based on what the comment section says. You know, although we always talk about reviews as being really important, which they absolutely are, you need to put the comment section in the same light, which is this is as important as your reviews on Google and across obviously your socials as well. So why comment management matters. And I've put these into 3 categories here. So the first one we've got is that it builds trust and loyalty. I think we know this. Brands that communicate with their audience become get a lot more loyal following. And there's some really good examples of this. If you look at someone like Huel, who I know I speak about quite a lot, but annoyingly, they do it very well. They don't miss a comment. They respond to every single one, whether it be good, bad, or ugly. But all this does is it build trusts. You know, if someone is on the fence maybe because of the taste of a product or how it looks, and they start seeing comments with people having that same issue, and Huel are going back with a really, really good response, that is going to potentially sway them into actually tasting or testing that product. So again, it just builds that trust. And then in terms of your current customers, the more you're engaging with them, the more loyal they'll be to you, and actually become, hopefully, as we all want our clients to be, which is an advocate of the brand. In terms of the second one, which is manage negative feedback, negative feedback is inevitable, especially if we're running paid social. But actually, your response determines what the outcome of that negative comment could be. So a timely, thought-out response can actually, a lot of the time, turn really unhappy, disgruntled customers into advocates. And we see this all the time. I've had in a previous life, I had a customer that I did something wrong for them, I think 7 times in a row. And at the point, Jan, I'll never forget his name, Jan said, "James, what are you doing?" I had to just hard my hands up in the time. I said, "Look, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I'm messing up here." He was my best customer for donkey's years, but I managed that negative feedback in a positive way, and I turned him around. And again, that's what we should be doing as brands on social media. Negativity, like I said, is inevitable, but actually how we deal with that is going to determine what the outcome is. The third one is amplifies positive engagement. So we know that the more you engage with your customers, the more that you engage back. But actually what this does is it does 2 things from a paid and also organic perspective across socials, which is if you're running paid media, that particular platform will lower your CPMs, which is amazing. So your cost per lead will reduce, your cost per acquisition will as well. And secondly, if you're running organic, actually you get something which is what I call free reach, which means that your content will be pushed out to further audiences because you get more and more engagement. So what I see a lot of people get engagement on their socials, which is fantastic. Someone's asking a question, and then all we do as a brand is put a love heart, or we just do an emoji or reaction. It's not good enough. Actually, the more engagement we get and the more we ask them questions, the more they engage with us, it amplifies us as a brand. So if you are doing that, please don't actually look at the question and actually respond as you would a human being, not a robot. Here's another brand that are actually doing it very well in terms of they're responding. And these guys you'll see here, their use clip, and I saw this on their paid ads, and again, they're responding to comments, which was absolutely brilliant. Again, there's a few there that I've given you examples to, but again, these aren't a huge brand. They're actually a SaaS platform, but they're engaged with their community, which is fantastic. So again, paid ads are one where I'm a big advocate of responding to comments, because you'll see that your paid ad CPM reduces dramatically, which is, we as advertisers, what we want. So in terms of strategies for effective comment management, here are 3 tips for you to take away and action today. And again, this is all free of charge, so we've got no excuses not to do it. So the first one is personalized responses. There's nothing worse than seeing a brand that is copy and pasting responses onto questions. And I've got a real bugbear with it, because someone's gone out, they've spent time, and they've asked the brand a question, or they've engaged with that brand, and that brand has just gone, "Hey, cheers, thanks." It's so poor. What we should be saying is, "Hey, Sarah, we're thrilled you enjoyed our service. How can we further assist? Can you tell us 3 things you loved about our product?" Sarah's then going to come back and write those 3 things, and start engaging even more, and then more people are going to see that. Personalize your responses. If you're not personalizing your responses, your brand will just become a robot. And again, there's some really good examples of people do that. Look at Ryanair. I'm sure we've all seen the turkey. The bold chap like me, gave a little comment to Ryanair in terms of the photo, and they've come back and flight to Turkey. Again, they're really bringing their brand to life, but it's a personalized response. You can tell it's not a robot, and it makes such a difference in terms of how you're perceived online. The second one is get on negativity quickly. Like I said, it's inevitable that we as brands will get negative comments. It's just a rite of passage. But how we address them and how quickly we address them is really important. If someone's really kicking off about your brand and bashing your brand, my recommendation would be get it on as soon as possible. If you're using a solution like Rupert, actually Rupert will hide that comment for the time being, and you can then respond in when you've got a bit of time. But if you haven't, or you're not using a platform like Rupert, my recommendation would be to get it within sort of the 12-hour period if you can, and actually write a response to that comment, but also then take it offline as well. Leaving it or just hiding it and leaving it hidden is only going to annoy the person even more, especially if you're just not responding whatsoever. So my recommendation would always be respond even to the negative ones, because again, it's going to help potentially turn that person around, but also potentially get seen by other customers who are on the fence in terms of using a brand, and showing a potential customer how you deal with negativity is really going to elevate you and give you some brand equity. And the third one is amplify positive comments. So turn positive comments into ongoing conversations by asking and follow-up questions. So very much like I was saying about the Sarah, which is, what's your favorite part of the experience? Can you share a photo? Can you tag us? And when people are tagging you in or into photos, or they're sharing their experiences with you via maybe video or even, like I said, photos, actually we should be resharing those and tagging them in. And what that's going to do is it's going to give that person a bit of a dopamine hit, because they feel that they're being seen by a massive brand, and they're being seen by hundreds of thousands of followers, which is amazing. And they're going to become an even bigger advocate of you. But give them an experience. If they're tagging you in their posts, a good brand that does this really well, actually, a client of Rupert's, is Pure Sport. Pure Sport are really building community at the moment, and they're doing it so well in terms of amplifying their own audience. And again, that's something we can all do. It doesn't take long, but again, that person that's done that is going to get a real buzz off you doing that. So again, they're 3 things that you can do. You can take away action today, and you'll see in a few weeks, a few months, actually how different your social feeds are by doing just these really simple 3 things. The last example I wanted to give was examples of what not to do. And you'll see here there's try, scribe, how, and also Pleo. Again, comments just not being answered, and some fair questions there, actually. No one's responded to them whatsoever. And again, this is examples of definitely what not to do. And the mad thing is, again, as I stressed earlier, these are paid ads. Pleo, on this example, are spending money on distributing this to more of their audience, yet none of them have responded to their comments, which is really, really poor, really, really poor, especially when you're paying to do it, which is even madder. So that is it. As always, 10, 12 minutes of just a bit of value. And like I said, there's 3 actions for you all to take away. If anyone has got any questions, write them in. I'm going to be here for the next minute, exactly 60 seconds. And if you have got any, type them away. If you haven't, or if you do think of one, send me a question on LinkedIn, on chat, and I will respond. But while you're typing in your questions, I'm sure you've all got hundreds. I'm lying. Next session will be next Wednesday, 11 o'clock. And next week, we'll be discussing preventing brand damage, managing negative publicity on social media, strategies to quickly address and neutralize negative comments. So I see no one's got any questions. As always, on a Wednesday, no one's ever got any questions. Maybe Luke on the odd occasion. But hopefully that was of some value. If anyone would like the slides from these presentations, email me or send me a note on LinkedIn, and I can send these across to you to share for your internal teams. But everyone, hope you have a good day, and I will see you next week at 11 o'clock on Wednesday. Take care.